Excuse me. Welcome back to Tojima Wants to Be a Kamen Writer. Anime Review, Episode 18. I was going to do a stream tonight, but my co-host had a family emergency, so there won't be a stream tonight. I suggested postponing the Monday because I can't do it tomorrow or Friday because I have streams those two nights. And, well, most of I have stream tomorrow, and I may not. In the case of Friday, it's a maybe because Friday I'm going out of town, so I may not get a chance to do a stream. Who knows? But in the case of basically this particular episode, we're discussing the 18th episode of the series, I'll Fight Shocker 2. Here's the thing with this episode, and I have no idea why Crunchyroll did this for, because this episode was supposed to come out on Saturday. And for some reason, it just was not there. It kept saying, watch again episode 17. It was like that Saturday. It was like that Sunday. I don't think I checked the Monday. But then I saw you last night, and I'm like, wait, it's available? Okay. Fine, I'll watch it. And I got it done. Now I got 6 more to go. Now, I do not know why Crunchyroll did this for. Where they just randomly delayed this episode like this. This was completely random. Because they have delayed this before. I think overall, of the episodes I've watched this show, which when I first started watching this, it was only like 2 episodes in, I believe it was. And yeah, it was 2 episodes in. I think it was like 2 episodes, 2 or 3 episodes. It wasn't that far in. And then it basically aired consistently, no problem. It did take, I think, like 1 week off for Christmas, I think it was. When it came back. And it's so interesting, though. This is a show that's released do a double feature. Yes, a double feature of the show for reasons, per se. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. I was not really expecting that, but okay. Yeah, and I'm sure probably say, date basically be Saturday. No, it was not released Saturday at all. It wasn't released at all. It wasn't even there at all. I honestly do not know why this was delayed. Because, mostly put, the show itself has been consistently released on time for the most part. Yeah, it didn't even skip a weekend. Nope, it didn't skip any week. You'd probably think, like, when was the first time it skipped? It was actually Christmas. Yes, Christmas time was when it skipped for 2 weeks. And it came back to, well, 1 episode. Episode 11. And then we did a double feature with 12 and 13. And then pretty much mostly put very consistent afterwards. So, in this episode, we pick up right where we left off last episode, where it's Jason Douglas' character. I'm trying to remember the guy's name here. Where him and his friends are basically, well, his henchmen are inside of his apartment, and he ends up dealing with Shocker. Well, basically Shocker combat women. He's like, you do know I'm a Shocker too. And they're like, tell him to screw him. Yeah, Nako. Yes, Nako. Where he fights him briefly. They get him out. They basically, he ends up fighting the combat women. And effectively, later on, I'll get to that. So, then they race to the apartment, and then they just, well, after finding them, of course, then, for some random reason, Tojima pops up out of nowhere when they're confronted, does basically a drop kick, knocks him aside, and Tojima's back against Kamen Mask. Now, as for what caused the regained confidence, it's not very clear. It's just that he has back on, and now he proceeds to punch the 3 Kamen women in the mouth, which causes them to lose their teeth. Yes, punch them really hard. He's like, Rider, and of course now she's like, punch. Punches all three of them in the face. They get away, and now she's like, can I go in tonight, hang out in your apartment, because my apartment's basically ransacked. He's like, fine. And show a flashback, like, very minutes, like, he's like, I don't really think in case I die. So then he talks to. Then Tojima goes to the diner where he talks to Mestaba, where basically he details what's going on here. And finally, and I note this, I was watching this episode, he finally refers to him as Batman, Shocker's Batman, though for some reason they refer to Spider-Man here. Despite the fact in the original series he was Man-Spider. Not sure why. But I do appreciate the fact they do refer to him by his actual name. I kind of wish he would have done that just a couple episodes ago. Yes. And of course then he's texted by Naga, can you bring some food and some smokes? And he's like, oh, and of course I was like, oh yeah, we do takeout. And he does. And then he proceeds and they have not as goons just playing cards in Tojima's apartment. When the combat women come back, somehow they found because he's part of Shocker somehow, because somehow they can track him. I'm like, how? Does he have a chip in his body? Because in the original series, there was no mention of chips in these people's bodies. So then he proceeds to, while his goons let him get away, then he runs, and you have this mini army of Shocker Comet women, and then Thunder Rinko shows up completely out of nowhere. Yes, tells the girls to leave because basically he's basically his prey. He's like, Thunder, big fan. And she proceeds to punch him in the face, breaking, basically causes his nose to bleed. I thought that was kind of funny. And then she transforms, punches the leader of this particular group of women, and then we see also Tojima's here too, where then of course basically Tojima briefly fights her and actually able to hold his own against her. Even at one point actually punched her in the face. Yes, the woman who's been killing the traitors to the Shock organization is defeated by a man who thinks he's Kamen Rider. Yes, seriously. You're like, and by the way, she's a female wrestler. Now, normally female wrestlers do not have their chest. Now, because it's anime, because I kind of basically fault the guy who drew the manga for this, because real life Japanese women do not have their chest that big. How would I know this? Because I've seen Japanese women compete on WWE television and on AEW TV. The breasts are not that big. This is exaggerated because it's anime. They gotta get away with that. So then she's defeated, and of course, Hunter's like, I'm quitting Shocker and fighting them. Really? You begged them to join. You begged them to join them, and he's a kind of traitor. And I'm thinking, like, wait, how the heck is this man a traitor? Like, he never seen it worse. He was made a Shocker combat man, and then nothing. And the thing is, it's not his fault. And the thing is, I don't necessarily blame the anime for this. I kind of blame the writing of the manga for this. Now, I of course read a little bit of the manga, but you kind of point the blame to the source material for this because he has not appeared a lot in the series per se. Yeah, that's the thing with this guy. He has not appeared a lot in this one. Not really. Like, oh, by the way, Yoshiro does appear here too. Yes. So, in the case of how much he's appeared in the series, he did appear in the very first episode. Yes, he did appear in the first episode. And he's appeared in, like, the first episode. I think he appeared in the second episode. I know he appeared in, I think it was the previous episode and then this one too. He has been a lot in the show, but he's been a handful of times. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, and then we also have a brief scene here where you have Shu with his girlfriend's uh his girlfriend, like another guy that she knows who may have been attracted to her at some point. Yeah, and they're just eating ramen in her apartment. And that's it. It's a brief scene. And he's like, gotta fight him. Goes, gotta fight. And then, of course, then you have Tojima contact. Yes, he puts a call in to Ichio. The former Yuka was actually injured fighting Batman. And I'm like, why the heck did you not call him earlier? Yes. And this actually... Now, okay, so... I forgot to mention this. So, in the case of this episode in particular, it covers episodes 25 and 28 of the series. Of the manga, anyways. The previous episode was 24, 29. You're like, really? Yeah, and for 16, no mention what chapter that adapted from. 15, 36, 37. 14, 25, 23, 25, and 36. It's like they're going all over the place. 13 is 21, 23. For 12, it's 19 and 20. For 11, it's 18 and 19, though apparently part 1 of the thing. Episode 10 is 16 and 18. Episode 9 is 14 to 16. Like, okay, wow, a lot of the manga. For episode 8, it's 13, 14, and 20. My guess is that bits pieces of that chapter. For episode 7, it's 10 through 12. For episode 6, it's 7 through 10. Excuse me. For episode 5, it's 6 and 7. For episode 4, it's 4 through 6 and pages 2 to 22 of chapter 26. For episode 3, it's chapters 3, 4, and probably about the first half of chapter 5. For episode 2 of the show, that is 2 to 3. And the opening episode of the show covered chapters 1 and 31. Yeah. And that's like, you probably think, like, how much is that? Like, I would think overall the series has probably covered roughly about 28 chapters in just a very short span of time. Yes. Yeah. So, oh, by the way, Spider-Man himself is also having, well, before the ramen, he actually is having a sparring session with him. Then later on, the guy is like, we should probably join Shocker too. And then there's Batman offering to join Shocker. Which something you've been teased since the opening title sequence. Otherwise, though, really good episode. Hopefully, this weekend, if I get a chance to watch it, hopefully this not get delayed. I hope the God it doesn't, because that'd be kind of stupid. But yeah, that's pretty much a particular video. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe to notifications. I think I'll probably save the remaining episode for tomorrow for my bench watching I watch right now, okay? So see you tomorrow. Wait, hold on. It was actually Comic Core. I'll do Comic Core next, okay? Next video. Bye.